What's happening with it? This is Slink Johnson, a.k.a. Black Jesus, your Lord and Savior, and you're listening to the Red Rock Podcast Network. How you love that?
You are listening to the Red Rock Podcast Network, featuring Pod of Thrones and The Shiznit.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
Welcome back to another episode of the Pod of Thrones. I am your king in the West, King Dino Red. And I have with me, as always, my ride or die, the Dark Dothraki. Lord,
what's going on,
Tone,
man? Lord Latone, coming straight from the black cells of King's Landing, because that's where the brothers must be. That's what's going on. And we also have our man, Sir Lamont. What's up, man?
Sir Lamont from the House Steward.
Well, in keeping with the tone of the episode, I'm only going to let you understand part of what I'm saying during this episode.
Wait, what?
Because it was so freaking dark, you couldn't make everything out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I was thinking my man had a bad connection.
I was like, is he having a stroke?
Improv!
Oh, man. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Thought maybe he was bootlegging the episode. He was getting that bootleg episode.
Yeah, people were pissed off about the darkness. I experienced a little bit of darkness myself, but see, we watch our downstairs TV. Our main TV is not actual TV; it's a projector. So we have issues in daylight.
Oh, that good shit.
Anyway, it's not all that, but it's problematic in daytime, and since it's coming on at 6 p.m. here, there's a lot of daylight. And a lot of daylight with that super dark, the way they shot it, that wasn't a good combo for my projector. So what me and my wife did, we just went upstairs and watched it in our bed, in our bedroom on a regular flat screen, and where it was dark with blackout curtains. So that was good enough for us.
You know what I actually heard? If you had a 4K TV, it looked really good. But for most people that don't have those type of gold dragons, it was very dark.
Yeah, that's what we watched it on 4K. Well, I mean, our TV's 4K, but it wasn't in 4K.
So there's two things about that. Like they showed pictures, like still images, in the press releases explaining the mess, and in the pictures, they intentionally went with the darkness, and I get that on an artistic level. But when you see the pictures and you see how intended to look, it makes more sense because it's clear and dark. Now, the problem for me is how when you download an episode, it's either HD or standard definition or high definition.
Yeah.
Them messing with all this stuff, for the ultimately coming down to their coin is what really messed it up. Throwing it through this filter, that filter, and all the degradation, is what led to everybody getting jacked off. I mean, screwed over. My opinion.
I mean, I watched it on my computer, and I was able to turn the brightness up, so it didn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
See,
I just turned the brightness up.
Well, there was the problem because I'll tell you the exact moment of the problem. Because as soon as it started, I had people over, so I'm adjusting and didn't think to pause because why would you pause? It's a live episode of the great TV show, So messing around with the settings, got the brightness up and everything, and then as soon as we'll get to it, but when the Dothraki die and then some people come back and then there was a person on a horse and I couldn't make out if it was like a living person, a dead person, I was like, well, we're fucked now because I can't clearly see what's happening. And that was what kind of threw off the whole experience for me.
Wow.
I think part of that was to create the anxiety, though. It's a fight for Winterfell. It's a fight the long night. It's a fight against the dark, the others. So some of that was done on purpose. Like,
absolutely.
We had the battle last year where they were on the ice. It was bright as hell.
Yeah.
But this time it was there to create some suspense, fear. So.
Yeah, and I think they took it a little bit too far, but I got what they were trying to do and the purpose behind it. But yeah, it was. I didn't realize it was that bad for people because, like I said, when we went upstairs and watched it on the new TV,
fine for you.
It was fine. Yeah, it was fine for us. So
yeah, I heard a lot of complaining. Fuck it, get a better TV. Are you guys ready? Let's recap the episode.
Let's get it.
Season 8, episode 3, The Long Night, and where we leave everybody, the White Walkers approach. So we start this episode, and Sam is already scared. Shit hasn't even started, and Sam's scared. Bran looks like he's been working at the call center for hours, and everyone else is stressed, looking left and right, like, are you guys ready? You guys ready? And I was impressed with the amount of Unsullied. I mean, I didn't know it was that many of them. They were in a really tight formation, and they looked like they were ready to go. But all of this started to look like my cross poles and catapults game from the 80s. You remember that game? Probably not. You didn't have board games. But looks like we're getting ready to battle. And I started to think, is this Operation Hide Behind Brown Folks? Like, what the hell is going on? All the brothers up front, the Hound and Ghost decide to go up to the front line. They want to hang out with the brothers at the cookout. Hey, it's all brown folks up front.
That's the way it usually works throughout history.
You brought it up, so let me just piggyback on that and just say, I was a little torn in my support for Winterfell now that I know that there's a bunch of racists living there. Part of me was like, yeah, get them motherfuckers, man.
you had divided loyalties. You're like, you didn't know if you wanted to root for the whites, the white people in Winterfell.
Look what they do. Look what racism does. It just fucks up everything.
That's funny. All of a sudden, Melisandre pops up, and she asks Jorah if he can translate the pregame speech to the Dothraki. Hey, I got it. And of course, she decides to spit bars harder than Budden on No Church for the Wild, and the Dothraki are ready. Then she turns into Lady Lighter Fluid, and she lights up the Dothraki swords like a cell phone at a concert.
Yeah, boy.
But Davos on site, the Onion Knight, doesn't like it. Now, he ain't about to whoop nobody's ass, but he's walking down there like he's about to get Melisandre. I was like, man, you ain't going to do nothing, homie.
Yeah, you're not going to do Nathan.
But he was looking like it. He was looking serious for once.
He said it.
Like, I'm going to do some fighting.
Yeah.
He said it. Of course.
Can I just go back to a couple, because, in the setup, and I should have jumped in earlier, but when Tyrion and Bran spoke, like in that episode, and then they cut away, and we have no idea what they were talking about, right? So
yes, we talked about that last week. We don't know what they talking about.
So there was also that scene, like when first you said, they saw Sam, then it cut to Tyrion, and then it cut to Bran, and Tyrion and Bran kind of had a look like, because we still have episodes to go. So I'm thinking something might come out of that conversation down the road, like Bran might have seen something and told Tyrion, or because there was a little something there. And then another thing was when Jon walked up the hill and goes next to Dany, there was a little chill there, like, because they still didn't resolve the whole, the whole thing. So she was still chilly in the beginning of the whole thing.
You're right. Everybody's put that other bullshit on pause. We got to deal with this, but everybody's still dealing with some issues. You're right.
But she did also too. She pulled her hand away from Jon, because when he went over to her, and he put his hand on her and he said something, she pulled her hand away and walked away. So there's still some tensions that I'm sure skip this episode, and then they'll be picked up, when we come back next week.
Well, the pregame continues because Melisandre says Valar Morghulis to the Unsullied, and they all reply, Valar Doharis, all men must die, all men must serve, and it's all good. Melisandre's out there with a good pregame speech until Arya looks at her and is like, bitch, I saw your name in my man's phone, ho. I don't fuck with you like that. Arya gave her a dirty look from up top. But it's game time, and the Dothraki rush the field. Now, remember, Robert Baratheon said only a fool would take on a Dothraki in an open field. Well, a tribe called Dothraki gets blown out like birthday candles. Robert, you're wrong.
Yeah. But that was a pretty freaking, the Dothraki riding into battle, they always get a good shot, because like even when the battle of the the Gold Road, like when they were coming over the mountain and everything, and they were on the charge. That was a dope shot. And in this episode, when they had those flaming balls flying over them, and they had that shot from the side of them, the Dothraki raging in, and apparently it was the final. The shot of Dothraki riding into battle. That was a beautiful shot right there.
It was, actually. I think it might have been one of the better shots of the episode. Like, it was, with the fire and them charging the field.
I agree. It
was dope.
I agree. It was super dope. It was.
I actually thought, oh, shit, they gonna do something.
You know, I thought, I was like, those flaming swords, they look really good. I don't know how much they gonna help, but they look really cool.
Yeah. And, you know, Dothraki screamers, they're always charged up anyway. So, you know, I thought it was going to be something. But I realized there are things that are extinct now. Dinosaurs, saber-toothed tigers, and the Dothraki.
Yeah.
I mean, because they hit the Army of the Dead like a massive tsunami. Like, the Army of the Dead was moving like a tsunami. Bang! And it was like a wave. They couldn't take it. Well, all the horses were like, I'm the hell out of here.
Actually, everybody keeps saying that, but they're really not. They're not extinct. Those aren't all the Dothraki. There were a lot of Dothraki that chose not to follow Khaleesi.
Okay.
So,
because they're over with Dario.
There's some on Dragonstone, allegedly. So it's not all of them.
Yeah.
But it's all the colored people in Winterfell. They've got rid of the foreigners up there.
You got to stop saying that because Lamont going to get pissed off. He going to protest the show.
For what reason?
Because we keep talking about all the black people getting killed.
Man, shit. I don't know if you're aware of the police. You know, that shit's very real.
Okay.
Yeah, word. No lie. Young Obama, my man Grey Worm, puts his helmet on because he's like, shit, the alt-right Army of the Dead is not going to eliminate me like that. So he's ready. You know, of course, Brienne screams, stand your ground. And of course, the jury doesn't indict. John and Danny are providing air support, but I don't understand why they didn't just light up the whole field so that everybody could see what was coming.
That would have helped.
You know, John's flying above the clouds and he sees the White Walkers, but winter comes Chicago style with a blizzard.
Well, you know,
and swallow both dragons up.
Well, you know, Danny broke plan. She broke the plan.
And I didn't know that until watching that after interview thing.
She got
Did you
mad
pick that up watching the episode?
Yeah, definitely. Because they talked about what the plan was. So they were supposed to lay back and try to wait for the Night King to show up, and then that's when they were going to come out and try to just outmaneuver him with the two dragons versus the one. But when
when does a woman ever listen? When does a woman ever listen to your plans?
Yeah. So when the Dothraki bit the dust, Danny was like, "Fuck that! Yeah. I gotta get my dragon."
Yeah. Well, those are her people, so I get it. She was emotional.
Yeah. But when you're talking about Junior Barack Obama putting on the helmet and everything, at that point when it was the quiet and you were waiting for them to come on, and that it was like the beat was like a heartbeat, and it kept speeding. It was like then it was like the flat. It kept speeding up like a heartbeat. That shit was dope.
Yeah, the music, the music throughout this whole episode was really good. They did a good job. Whoever orchestrated it, very good job.
Hell yeah.
Creating tension, and I needed a Xanax watching it. I was like, God damn, I'm gonna relax. Yeah. Now the Night King must be related to Aurora Monroe because I didn't know he could bring the storm.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
Yeah, but hey, if you're gonna be leading a war, you got to have some extra tricks up your sleeve.
Exactly. Westeros needs some flashlights because I was like, man, y'all can't see shit. And I don't know what Arya and Sansa were doing on the top of the things, but Arya told Sansa to go sew something, and she gave her a sword. But I mean, Arya told Sansa to go away, like go downstairs. Like this is what I do.
Yeah, she told her to go hide in the crypt.
Like, this is my people. She was like, these are my people. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
What exactly did she think she was gonna do? Sansa, that was crazy. Know. She was, and then the other thing too, she's been the smartest person this season. Like, I'll give her credit for being smart this season, but that wasn't smart. Thinking like, well, I don't know, but she didn't register. The threat didn't register to her or something. But the battle-tested Arya knew that some shit was going down. Maybe they were showing the difference between. I don't know, but it didn't make sense that Sansa thought that she could contribute in any way to that battle.
Well, only Jon and the Wildling have seen the White Walkers. I'm sure to a certain degree, she was like, I want to see if this shit is real. I've been hearing about this my whole life. Let me see if this is real.
That's another thing. How come? Where are the other wildlings? Because all I'm seeing is Tormund, who I don't mind, but there was a bunch of them motherfuckers, and where are they at?
I saw them with Tormund. They was out there fighting.
Okay.
So they're mixed in.
I mean, but we don't know the name of